New.
Isn't that just exactly what you wanted to hear at 5 o'clock? Money has more germs than a toilet seat. Yep, that's our Thursday headline for the day today. Happy Friday Eve, everybody. I am Betsy Kling, and Mike Polk is in for Jay today, broadcasting from what we're calling Chateau Polk now. We're really one-upping there. Mike, we're going to check back in with you in just a little bit, but first we want to get to our big story. We are talking about the death of George Floyd. The Department of Justice says it has launched a robust criminal investigation into his death. Laura Queso is following that story for us tonight. Hi, Laura.
Yeah, and we just learned that the FBI is about to hold a press conference. We will bring you updates, of course, as soon as we learn more about that. But let's talk about this, Betsy. A lot to talk about because George's death has sparked protests and outrage nationwide after videos showed a Minneapolis police officer kneeling on his neck after he was already handcuffed and detained. The police officer and 3 others have been fired, but many are demanding they be charged, and they are not doing it quietly.
A new day in a smoldering city, but carrying old wounds of a nation.
Police brutality is wrong, but to tear down our city like this, what's this proving? We're already going through the coronavirus right now.
Minneapolis literally ignited after a second night of protests in the death of George Floyd turned violent. Smoke billowing overhead, residents looting stores.
We're about to lose the front of the precinct if we don't move this crowd out of the front.
Officers in riot gear attempting to secure a perimeter.
We have had a community that has been in trauma for quite some time. And what I cannot allow as chief is for others to compound that trauma.
Though heavily redacted by police, the department released body cam video from a Park police officer who responded to the scene after Floyd was detained Monday night.
I can breathe.
But it sheds no light on this disturbing video, where the fire department now confirms the 46-year-old showed no signs of life when paramedics arrived.
My best friend on TV for the world to see getting killed.
Former NBA player Steven Jackson considered Floyd his twin.
So this is not what Floyd would want. Floyd would want everybody standing together and fighting for justice, and that's it. He's not the type of person to promote violence.
Violence not the answer for a family, city, and nation looking for change.
Again, we are expecting more information from the FBI. We're expecting updates. I do want to let you know that the United States Attorney Erica McDonald, this is just coming in, is promising a robust criminal investigation into the police-related death of George Floyd. Again, so many updates to come here. We do want to also let you know all 4 officers who responded to this have been fired in a rare move. The Minneapolis mayor has called for murder charges to be filed in the case. Again, Betsy, this is continuing, and we will bring you updates as they come in.
And we'll continue to watch for it. Thank you so much, Laura. Well, now on your feet at 5, the total number of COVID-19 cases in Ohio is now at 33,914. Today, a small increase was reported in the day-to-day numbers. Everybody's watching this so closely because we've been opening up now for a couple weeks. 476 new cases were reported within the last 24 hours. That is up from 433 the day before. The good news here, these numbers are still slightly lower than just a couple of days ago. And we have some good news for people in assisted living facilities and intermediate care facilities for individuals with developmental disabilities. They're soon going to get to have visits with their friends and family. Today, Governor Mike DeWine announced that outdoor visitation will resume on June 8th.
So we're going to start with those 2. We are not to nursing homes yet. And I know that causes anguish for a lot of people who are watching this, but we're trying to do this so that we don't increase the COVID inside the nursing homes or the assisted living or the intermediate care facilities.
Well, Governor DeWine said part of their decision was based on the quality of life and what can happen to someone who goes a long time without interaction with friends and family. Mike?
Hi, Betsy. CVS is joining Rite Aid and Walgreens as a place for people to get tested for COVID-19. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins explains what you can expect.
Starting tomorrow, you'll be able to get a COVID-19 test at a local CVS. Those interested need to meet CDC state and age guidelines and must register in advance at cvs.com. The test sites are in 13 Northeast Ohio cities. Then you're just going to drive up to the pharmacy drive-through window where you'll get the kit and instructions. You'll need to do the swab yourself in your car, but a CVS employee will watch to make sure you do it correctly. The test will then be sent to an independent third-party lab for processing and send back results in 3 days.
All of the swabbing will happen at the drive-thru in the patient's vehicle in order to maintain safety of the patient as well as those of us in the store.
More than half of the company's 1,000 test sites across the country are going to be in underserved communities measured by the CDC's Social Vulnerability Index. Now, the index includes poverty, lack of access to transportation, and crowded housing that may weaken the community's ability to prepare and recover from coronavirus. Monica Robbins, 3 News.
COVID-19 is having a big impact on a lot of people's mental health. Many people have been isolated from friends and family, and they're feeling lonely. Others are anxious. NBC's chief medical correspondent, John Torres, joins me now. And Dr. Torres, how has our country's mental health response to the COVID-19 pandemic been so far?
And Betsy, so far it's been okay, but you have to remember, we've all been inside for the past couple of months. So you're right, a lot of people are experiencing more anxiety, experiencing more depression right now, but they haven't been able to go out. A lot of times because these offices are closed, a lot of areas are using telehealth, telemental health to try and help get those things better under control. But I think what's going to happen is you're going to see over the next couple of months, as people start to come outside, that anxiety, that depression is going to start manifesting itself a little bit more, and they're going to start looking for help from mental health services, from their own physician services as well. And I think you're going to see the overall system get a little bit overwhelmed, and hopefully that capacity is there to take care of people when they especially need to be taken care of, Betsy.
Definitely. Well, you know, there's an interesting kind of side note on this. There's the people who have already been diagnosed. They know they have anxiety. They know they have depression. But out of this, there may be a group of people that have no idea that suddenly they have anxiety and depression. They don't know what to do. They don't know their signs, their symptoms. Can you fill us in a little bit about what to look for?
And Betsy, you're exactly right. A lot of people might be noticing these things and saying, well, it's probably because I've been inside for 2 months. That's probably what I'm feeling, when in fact it could be this anxiety or depression. So a few things to look for. If they start having changes in their energy, changes in their appetite, if they start having sleep issues, meaning they're either sleeping more than they should or not sleeping much at all, or having a lot of disturbed nightmare kind of sleeps, a lot of short tempers, that can be an issue that's also being raised because of this. And then on top of that, increased use of alcohol or drugs. And that's been a big concern over the past couple months and something I've talked a lot about. But at the same time, it could be a definite sign of anxiety or depression, Betsy.
Well, if we're worried about someone, what's the best way to offer to help them?
So the best way to help yourself is essentially, we're social animals. You want to keep a routine. You want to try and not social isolate yourself, but then you want to make sure that you're getting out with other people, whether it be through different types of online social media type situations, simple phone calls. So just social isolation doesn't mean social disengagement. So you want to make sure you get out there and talk to other people. And if you do need help, definitely seek help. And that's probably the biggest message I could give here. There are a lot of ways to seek help through your own primary care provider, through mental health services, but just make sure you seek help, or simply even talk to another friend about it.
And of course, there's always the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That number is at the bottom of our screen for everybody. Dr. John Torres, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again tonight on Nightly News with Lester Holt. All right, well, now let's go over to Russ Mitchell for today's top headlines. Hi there, Russ.
Hey, Betsy, good afternoon, and good afternoon to you at home. Another 2 million have applied for unemployment across the country in the latest wave of layoffs. Since the virus outbreak, some 41 million have lost their jobs. However, as states reopen, some workers are being called back, leading to the number of receiving benefits to fall. Within the past hour, President Trump signed an executive order aimed at curbing liability protections for social media companies. This comes after the president lashed out at Twitter for putting fact checks on 2 of his tweets. The order would direct executive branch agencies to study whether they can place new rules on companies. However, legal experts say this probably cannot happen without an act of Congress. And the Holden Arboretum in Kirtland reopened today. Public health guidelines are being followed, including group sizes of no more than 10. Visitors are also encouraged to wear masks. The Arboretum has more than 3,600 acres to explore. We should say 3,600 gorgeous acres to explore. It's beautiful there.
It's one of those places that you go there and you visit, and then you go home and look at your yard and you go, man, we could do a lot better.
Yeah, but then you can go back and enjoy it again, certainly.
Absolutely. Thanks, Russ.
Yeah.
Mike, back to you.
Speak for yourself. My roses are coming in nicely, just so you know, Betsy. You know, you keep hearing it, social distance, but are you listening? If not, what's it going to take? Well, the World Health Organization figured, hey, if anyone can get the point across to people, it's the minions. Heck, even I would listen to them. The minions.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Gru. But you already knew that. And I've got some tips to help you get through this challenging time. First, practice physical distancing.
I'm sorry, I did not see you there.
I've been doing it my whole life.
Or there.
Plus, there are lots of things you can do at home, like stay active with some sick dance moves. Be daring and whip up a new dish.
In case you don't know who the minions are, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but they're from the movie Despicable Me. Besides social distancing, staying active, the public service announcement says try to do some new things, and you know what? Be kind. Seems like good advice from the minions. And it's time for our daily senior shout-out. Tonight we're spotlighting Tori Gall. Tori is a senior at West Geauga High School, where she was named Athlete of the Month twice. Impressive. She will attend Fairmount State University this fall. You can send us your senior shout-outs at wkyc.com/senior shout-outs. And still ahead on what's new, we're all probably going to be spending more time at home this summer, so we're making your front porch a place that you're going to want to spend that time. And Stephanie, what is clicking in Cleveland?
Mike, your live sports are great and all, but the NBA does have plans to come back, and what we're looking at is whether those plans include the Cavs. Now back to Betsy, who's doing double duty today on the weather. How's it look, Betsy?
Well, what's left of what was Tropical Storm Bertha continues to move out, and off to the west of us, you can see that line of rain. That is the cold front that is going to sweep through tomorrow and bring big changes by the weekend. I have all the details for you straight ahead.
Well, it's officially summer, and you're probably going to be spending a little more time at home than normal this summer if trends continue. And in order for you to enjoy that time, we're going to show you how to make your front porch the kind of place that you want to hang out and spend some time. Here are our friends from Ashley Clark Interior Design with some simple and fun ideas to make your porch feel like new.
Hi everyone. Hi. I'm Ashley Clark. I'm Carly Cicero. And we are with Ashley Clark Interior Design Group. And we are here getting our front porch ready for the summer. Finally have some nice weather, so we thought we'd share some tips on how you can also take our advice and add it to your front porch or even your front steps. So our number one tip would be to use plants. They're our favorite indoor and outdoor. They add dimension and color and layers and height. They do everything that we need accessories to do, so we use them in abundance. We have some rosemary here that we add on the cocktail table. It's useful, it's edible. And then we also have an orange tree behind us. And then for those of us who aren't great with plants, we have some ferns on each side of our sofa. They're really full, they have a lot of texture, and every year we put them on each side. We love how they look. They are my favorite. They are really pretty. Number two would be candles. So we have lanterns next to our door, so we use tall lanterns, and then we have candle holders wherever we have tables. So we have actually 2 candle holders here. So we use these all over. We put battery operated candles that are on timers. So every evening that comes on and we get a nice ambiance out here, and they last for like 6 hours and they shut off on their own. And then the last tip that we would suggest would be to treat the outdoors as you do the indoors. So layer it, add the pillows, add the vases and the trays. Just make sure that if you had a vase, that it's heavy enough that the wind's not gonna blow it over. And for the pillows, make sure it's like outdoor fabric, it's rated for outdoors, but just layer it, give it a homey feel, so when you're sitting out here enjoying the weather, it's comfortable and you wanna stay out here for hours and hours. So that's what we got for today. We're gonna finish up here. Thank you. We'll see you again soon.
This is embarrassing, but I have a stoop and not a porch. Pillows wouldn't last more than 10 seconds out there, unfortunately. I'm embarrassed that I have a stoop. I want a porch, Betsy. I don't have one.
You have a driveway. Get yourself a fold-up chair.
I do have a driveway.
And you can put a beautiful pillow on that fold-up chair, and you can do some driveway setting. We do driveway drinks, which is kind of fun way to socially distance from your neighbors and still kind of have a cocktail.
That's acceptable. Well, are people going to be able to do that in actual sunshine, or is it going to maybe rain on them a little bit?
I'm trying to figure out where exactly in your house you are, because it looks like there is zero daylight anywhere around you.
Yeah. I can't have direct light coming into the house. First of all, I love that you just completely ignored my weather tease. Because I'm so ginger, as you know, I have everything blacked off in my house. It's like a haunted museum in here.
It must be. Well, if you peek through those dark curtains, you would probably start to see some sunshine out there. See? Oh, I know. Be careful. SPF 9000, please.
Just hurt my eyes.
I don't want to do that. Let's take a look at how things are going to go through the rest of the evening. If you're porch setting, stoop setting, driveway drinking, whatever, we have our patio forecast for this evening. Temperatures are going to be in the 60s, and it looks like it should be just fine to get out and about if you want to do a little bit of that. We do have a few isolated showers that have been popping up. This is just kind of willy-nilly stuff, not really any rhyme nor reason. One of those showers is right here around the Vermilion area back into Berlin Heights. This will continue to move off to the northeast. There's another little shower just down here in southeastern Holmes County. That isn't much of anything except a light rain shower that will pass through. But we'll watch to see how these showers continue to move out to the northeast. This may clip, as I mentioned, through the Vermilion area, and there you see it. Whoop, it's moving through. No lightning being detected on that, but I think you may end up dealing with this for maybe another 10 minutes, maybe. But for the most part, it's just a really nice evening. We have seen some sun breaking out in northeast Ohio, but this big picture is just so phenomenal from a meteorological standpoint. There is a ton of information to glean from this. Number one, what is left of what was Tropical Storm Bertha continues to disintegrate as it moves north into Canada. It's totally disconnected from its tropical energy source. And we are still left with a big push coming out of the south. So there's your humidity and the heat. We have some drier air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, so we got some sunshine that helped to pop the temperatures up to about 80, which is where we're sitting right now at Hopkins. Then you have these clouds and showers down here in the area around Arkansas and Missouri. This is an upper level low, so this is basically an energy source that's going to continue to push to the east as this cold front comes in. This is just like nerd-rific, right? The whole point about that upper level low is that that's where the cold air is connected. So it's going to kind of follow along. Your really chilly air is coming out of the north, and we end up getting a pattern change. Anytime we have change in the atmosphere, especially here in Northeast Ohio, it comes at a cost, and that cost will be more showers and storms. So for the rest of the evening, mostly cloudy skies with some sun peaks in there, maybe a random shower. But as we go hour by hour in your National Design Mart forecast, there you see it. We're just mostly cloudy by midnight. Some scattered showers are going to be around, but tomorrow is an important day because the cold front will be coming in. Temperatures are quickly going to hike into the 80-degree range, I think mid and upper 70s to 80 degrees. That will trigger thunderstorms to come through. Some of these storms could be strong to severe, high winds, hail, torrential downpours. But here's the thing, once the front goes through, and that should happen by the evening, we will see a definitive change in the way the air feels. So Saturday morning, meaning Friday night into Saturday morning, you should be able to open the windows, turn off the AC, get some fresh air, because it is going to be downright chilly. By Saturday afternoon, temperatures don't make it out of the mid and upper 60s. So it's going to be kind of interesting for us. Universal Windows Direct Outlook has us in the upper 70s to near 80 tomorrow. There's the 60s for the weekend, but it's going to be cooler, more comfortable, a whole lot less humid, and a whole lot brighter too. By the time we get into next week, then, it's going to be the opposite. We're going to warm things up. We're going to get some more humidity in here, and that'll help us trigger some more scattered rain and storms. Mikey?
I am happy to hear that it's going to be drying out a little bit. It is very humid at Polk, at Chateau Polk right now. Believe me, it is damp in here.
I think we need to get you some cross-stitched sign to hang on your wall.
That would help intensely. All right, look into that. Facebook and Twitter CEOs are at odds. And could the Cavs season really be over? Did it ever really start? Stephanie Haney has the details on that on Clicking in Cleveland, coming up next.
Well, it's time now to see what is clicking in Cleveland with our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Stephanie, Facebook CEO and Twitter CEO, well, they're not quite seeing eye to eye on fact-checking the president's tweets.
They sure are not, Betsy. President Donald Trump's latest Twitter feud has everyone thinking about what role websites should play in what gets posted. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg says that it should be a hands-off approach.
But I don't think that Facebook or internet platforms in general should be arbiters of truth. Political speech is the most scrutinized speech already by a lot of the media.
Stop. Now, that might be the case, but the CPO of the Dallas Morning News, Mike Oren, he tweeted saying that Trump tweeted one of their articles with lots of Twitter engagement, and it did not impact their readership at all. And by the way, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey says that they're not trying to decide what's true and what's not true. They're just trying to connect the dots so people can see different viewpoints side by side and judge for themselves. Now, one thing we probably won't get to judge for ourselves anytime soon is whether the Cavs have gotten any better during this little break, we'll call it, because the NBA's plans to return probably don't include them. Now, the Cavs finished their season didn't finish their season, but went into lockdown with the second worst record in the league, 19 wins and 46 losses. And because of that, the NBA return plans that are getting the most traction, like a modified NBA playoff happening in Orlando in late July, do not include Cleveland. One place that is giving us some love, though, is the Travel Channel. The notoriously haunted Mansfield Reformatory is being investigated in tonight's episode of Portals to Hell. So the Ohio State Reformatory has been featured on both Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventurers, but according to Entertainment Tonight, this is the first time ever that the original solitary confinement area will be investigated on TV, and the hosts will be getting to do the honors. That's Jack Osborne and paranormal researcher Katrina Weedman. Now, if you are so inclined, that is tonight at 10 p.m. on the Travel Channel. I personally am a huge baby. I have nightmares when I watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer Betsy, so I'm hoping that you'll watch this for us and then you can let us know how it works out.
It looks, I mean, you got me. I'm not going to be watching that one at all, ever, probably. I am totally with you on that.
We'll check Twitter then. That's
and I have
fine.
to ask, did we almost have a guest appearance by Harry Winston the Puggle?
Yes, we did almost have a guest appearance from Harry Winston. He's been wandering around a lot. He almost knocked over my light, so yeah. We're dealing with that today.
It's time for a walk. All right, thanks, Stephanie. We'll check back in with you in a couple minutes. Well, still ahead on What's New, we are helping you avoid the long lines at coffee shops. You can make frappuccinos at home. And contactless payment. It is gaining more and more popularity. How you can pay for items when you're inside a store without ever touching a card reader. And we are learning more about George Floyd, the man who died after a police officer kneeled on his neck. His family is opening up about what happened and what he meant to them.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Welcome back, everybody, to What's New. Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm Betsy Kling here in Studio A. Mike Polk is joining us from Chateau Polk in for Jay this afternoon. And Mike, every day at 5:30, we really try hard to do a segment called Tell Me Something Good. What did you find for us today?
I did not find this, but a producer did. I'm not going to claim credit. It's still a very great thing, though, and it is good, and I'm happy about it. I'm just not going to act like I scoured the world for it. I'll be completely honest. But it's neat. It's called the Giving Tree Project, and it kicked off its first tree in Rocky River. Masks will be hanging from the tree, and anyone is free to grab one if you need one. A local attorney, Kira Krivash, and I know her, nice girl, and State Senator Nikki Antonio came up with the project. They just ask that if you do take a mask, you limit it to 2 per person, and that you obviously wash the mask before using it. They plan to have a tree in Lakewood in a couple of weeks, so that's neat.
It's definitely very good news. All right, Mike, we'll get back with you in just a couple minutes. Right now, it's time for our top talker. It's a peaceful protest turned violent in Minneapolis overnight. Demonstrators are pushing for answers and accountability in George Floyd's death. Our Russ Mitchell is here with the latest information on this. And Russ, Floyd died after a police officer kneeled on his neck.
That's right, Betsy. It all began with a fake $20 bill. Floyd was accused of using that fake 20 at a store, and when police arrested him, they claimed he resisted. However, this cell phone video appears to show the moment he stepped out of his vehicle and was taken into custody. Later, as Betsy said, an officer kneeled on Floyd's neck. All 4 officers involved in this incident were fired. His death has caused several days of riots and protests in Minneapolis. The mayor called them the result of built-up anger within the black community for the past 400 years.
I believe in Minneapolis. I love Minneapolis. And in believing in our city, we must believe that we can be better than we have been. We must confront our shortcomings with both humility as well as hope. We must restore the peace so that we can do this hard work together. He did not receive that love and that peace from our officers on the night of May 25th. But we can still honor him by practicing those values during a time of great strife. That is the task ahead of us.
Floyd's cousins also spoke about the incident and talked about what kind of person Floyd was to the people in his life.
He was the cousin that everybody loved. We grew up together, and he was always happy, the jokester. He was an athlete. He was very talented in so many ways. He was a father. He was everybody's favorite everything.
Again, the 4 officers involved in the incident were fired. Mayor Fry is now pushing for the arresting officer to be charged. Betsy?
All right, we'll continue to follow that story. Thanks, Russ. We'll see
Sure.
you soon. Russ and Laura, we'll have more on this incident tonight on What Matters Most at 6. Well, let's get you caught up on some of the biggest coronavirus headlines making news today. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced an executive order this afternoon saying businesses can tell people that they cannot come into their store if they're not wearing a mask. He first ordered all residents to wear masks in public back in April. However, he didn't state whether private businesses were allowed to deny people entry because of it. This clarifies that order. American Airlines announced it's cutting about 30% of its staff, which adds up to 5,000 jobs. The cuts will affect its management and support staff. The company says this is all because of the impact from COVID-19. American Airlines is offering buyouts to these employees and plans to offer voluntary leave and buyouts for frontline staff like flight attendants next month. Flying is down 80% from a year ago. And back here at home, here are the latest numbers on coronavirus. The daily number of new cases is slightly higher than yesterday's. In the last 24 hours, 476 new cases were reported. That's 43 more than the previous day. However, these numbers are still lower than daily averages over the last 3 weeks. Well, cashless payment has been gaining popularity for a while now, but COVID-19 is renewing that trend. More people are starting to use things like Venmo and Apple Pay to avoid having to touch things like credit card readers. Here's our Brandon Simmons with other options you can use inside stores.
Money is something we wouldn't mind having more of, but with it comes germs that could be dangerous.
Anything that touches our hands can get onto our money, and it can be passed.
Paper money can reportedly carry more germs than a household toilet. Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Kristen England says your credit cards and the machines aren't much better.
It's not going to harm you just through your skin, just holding on to it. Where the harm comes is when you take that and then touch your face, your eyes, your nose, or your mouth.
Contactless payments can help. But here in the U.S., Tap to Pay has a much slower adoption rate than other parts of the world who rely on it more than cash. This pandemic is a good time for the U.S. to catch up. Here's how. You can use cards loaded onto a phone using Apple Pay or Google Pay, and some stores like Walmart even use QR codes to finalize transactions. But a phone or device isn't always required. You may already have a Tap to Pay card in your pocket. Just look for this icon somewhere on the card. It looks like a Wi-Fi symbol. You don't have to swipe, and in most cases, you don't have to sign either. Hold your card up to the machine, and you're done. It's unlikely contactless payments take the place of cash, but if you're looking for ways to cut down on germs, this is a good start.
1343.
No matter what form of payment you decide to use,
You're never going to sterilize the money. You're never going to sterilize your environment. What you can control is how you wash your hands.
Wash your hands or sanitize them after every transaction. Now, the good news is most merchants already have the terminals that are compatible with Tap to Pay. They added those to those many stores back when we started using chip cards, Betsy. So you already have that tech available to you.
All right, so what are the other benefits besides just, knocking down germs and whatnot?
Well, yeah, getting rid of germs is the big one, but the other one is speed. If you go to a store and you use Tap to Pay, it's typically faster because it processes more quickly than it would to actually insert your card, let the chip reader do its thing, and then give a final transaction. So speed is the one, and then the other is security. It's still just as secure as using some of those other payment methods, and definitely more secure than using just the magnetic stripe.
Well, I got to tell you, when somebody hands you a pen or you have to use the pen that's on that machine, now I'm totally bugged out by that. So it's a new world. We got to think about these things. Appreciate the insight, Brandon. Mike?
Hi, everybody. It's time to take a break right now and see what all those... I'm sorry, everybody, you have to look at my background and my lighting after you saw Brandon's, which is amazing. Just deal with it. These are trying times. Sorry. But anyways, to learn about what's going on with the famous people and what they've been up to, which is really the important thing, isn't it? Let's check in with Stephanie for our Daily Pop break.
Hi, agents. I just got a deal.
Just when you thought you knew everything about her, Amy Schumer is coming out with a documentary about her journey to becoming a mom. Expecting Amy follows Schumer from right after she finds out she's pregnant all the way up to the birth of her son, Gene, hitting on all of the tough topics too, like her extreme morning sickness, which Schumer says made her feel like she had food poisoning for 9 straight months. That couldn't have been fun, but the end result sure is cute. Wonder Woman herself, Gal Gadot, surprised doctors and nurses this morning who have been wearing her character's iconic costume to get them through this pandemic.
You are the real heroes, okay? Let's just make this clear.
The lady said when they put on those outfits, it makes them feel stronger, as Gal thanked them for keeping people safe.
Everything that you do is the real deal. You're risking your life for other people. I get emotional thinking about it, and you're amazing.
And the co-creator and screenwriter of the John Wick series, Derek Kolstad, shocked everyone recently when he told comicbook.com that the franchise was originally supposed to be called Scorn. Apparently, the movie's star, Keanu Reeves, kept forgetting and publicly calling it John Wick instead. Kolstad said marketing was like, dude, that's $4 to $5 million in free advertising so far. Sounds like a no-brainer to change the title. Clearly, Kolstad agreed. With 3 movies now and a 4th one on the way, obviously that was the right call. And it really speaks to Keanu Reeves' star power if you think about it, because when you think about all the research that goes into naming a movie, Mike, so truly, you might call him the biggest influencer out there.
What an impressive man he is. And to think he started with like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and now he is crushing it with John Wick movies and being like one of the most respected people in Hollywood. He hasn't even creeped on anybody yet. I love that guy. And those Wick movies are great. Thank you,
Hands
Stephanie.
are always out here.
Thanks. Still ahead. Hey, we're ditching those long lines for coffee and we're making our frappuccinos at home, Betsy. You know that, though.
Yes, we are. I don't really see you as a frappuccino kind of guy, but I guess you'll have some more insight on that coming up in just a little bit. Look at outside right now, everybody. A few fair weather cumulus clouds, but lots of blue sky. The nice weather sticking around this evening, but there are more storms on the horizon. I have the details next.
Have you people seen the lines at Starbucks? Even a pandemic can't stop people from wanting their coffee. But you can still make a good frappuccino at home, thanks to this recipe from Chef Anna at Anna in the Raw. Here's what you're going to need. You need 1 cup of coffee. Anna prefers cold pressed. 1 cup of milk or chocolate milk if you're nasty. That works too. Now, to get that frap consistency, Anna says to freeze the milk. That's the key there. You got to freeze it. And then freeze that in almond butter ahead of time, because you got to put almond butter in there, obviously. And apparently that's supposed to make a real nice treat.
Use ice, but since I freeze it and I don't have ice here, I decided to stay consistent with that. And then I like almond butter just for extra protein too. So I freeze all that and then just goes right in there. Easy peasy. That is what you guys are depending on us to do, right?
And, of course, you can top that with whipped cream, or chocolate syrup, or caramel, or gummy bears, or Jameson Irish whiskey, or all of that at once if you're really in a mood and you want to make a weekend of it. Betsy, have you become your own best barista during these times?
Negative, Ghost Rider. I have not, actually. I just Just drink coffee with some cream in it. That's it. A little half and half. I'm good to go.
Yeah. I'm a black coffee person myself too, but people really love it, apparently. People are honestly, line at Starbucks, way longer line than people getting tested for COVID at Walgreens.
And a Jameson
it's a strange
whiskey
world.
Frappuccino. That might be a new one.
Yeah, it's like called a hot toddy. My mom makes those. They're amazing. Peggy Polk.
All right, thank you, Mike. Let's talk about the weather now, shall we? We are going to just really enjoy this weekend. A little bit of a refreshing breeze is coming in, but it will be cooler for us. As we go through the next 12 hours, you can see we'll have some clouds hanging around, and by tomorrow morning, probably some showers beginning to sneak into the forecast. Temperatures, though, staying on the mild side, only in the 60s to start the day tomorrow. This time of the year, a little sun goes a very long way. Once those clouds started to break up, the temperatures popped. We were in the 60s most of the morning, kind of hovering around 70 degrees in the low 70s early afternoon. Sun comes out, bam, we're right up to the 80-degree mark. So we'll probably see our afternoon highs perhaps after 5 p.m. Our almanac data, the preliminary climate data for the day, comes in at 5. So we'll have to see how things go at 6 and 7. The official numbers for the day aren't released until about 2 o'clock in the morning, so you know how that goes. Anyway, here's a look at the radar. That little shower that we were watching right around Vermilion is now just offshore of Lorain, and that will continue to move out to the northeast. The little shower that was in southeastern portions of Holmes County has dissipated, and so now we are going to have a dry evening. Big picture shows us, though, that won't be lasting too long. There is a pretty potent cold front out to the west of us, and that cold front is going to help to kind of push along an upper level low that's been plaguing areas down around the Arklatex, and that will kind of slide across us as we go through the day tomorrow. So isolated rain chances in the morning, and then better chances for rain and thunderstorms as we head through the afternoon. All of that is coming ahead of the cooler air. Look at the greens that are showing up, even some blues north of the border. That air is what is coming in for the weekend, and we won't be making it out of the 60s, but the good news is it will be so much less humid and much more comfortable around here. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast keeps us dry through the evening. We'll have a mix of clouds and clear skies as we go through the overnight. Temperatures in the morning likely to be in the 60s to near 70, maybe some rain chances passing through, but then the better chance for rain comes as the temperatures begin to rise once we head to midday. Pop-up showers and thunderstorms will be around midday into the early afternoon. We are anticipating the possibility for some strong and maybe severe thunderstorms in the afternoon hours. A lot of that would come in peak daytime heating, which right now looks to be about anywhere from 1 p.m. till about 5 p.m. or so. And then the cold front is going to come in. So watch how this front just kind of sweeps through and moves the rain right out of here, so that by late evening, we're talking about clearing skies and much cooler air filtering in at this point. We're going to have 50s once we hit the midnight hour. And then by Saturday morning, under clear skies, we could even have some 40s and low 50s pre-dawn before we are off to just a beautiful afternoon. Here's your Universal Windows Direct forecast. Upper 70s to around 80 for tomorrow before the thunderstorms come through. Then we'll see the temperatures falling in the evening. Clearing skies for Saturday with highs in the upper 60s, mid 60s with sunshine on Sunday, more sun Monday, and we're right back into the 70s to near 80 as we head through the rest of next week. Mike?
Thank you, Betsy. Still ahead, who remembers the show Hickory Hideout? I know I do. It aired right here on Channel 3 back in the day. It came on before cartoons on Saturday mornings, as I recall. Betsy's going to catch up with one of the stars. We're going to talk about where she's at now and how she's managing to get through this pandemic. And this Worth the Watch took a lot of time, effort, and patience. The 70-step trick shot you do not want to miss. Stay tuned.
Kathryn Hahn has found success on screens big and small in movies like Bad Moms and on television shows like Transparent. But it all started right here in Northeast Ohio. I recently caught up with the Beaumont School graduate over Zoom to hear about her latest projects and how she's managing life at home.
I just remember my dressing room was next to Leon Bibbs. That was the coolest.
Long before actress Kathryn Hahn was stealing scenes and landing acclaimed roles in Hollywood.
Maybe I'm worried about her soul. Is that weird? It's a little weird.
She was known as Jenny on WKYC's own children's show, Hickory Hideout.
We have a problem in our park.
Gee, Cassie, what problem?
Oh, come on, Jenny.
That is kind of an interesting way to kick off one heck of a career.
For sure. That was such a huge formative part of my life.
The Cleveland Heights native is now based in LA, where, like so many of us, she's spending a lot of time at home with family these days.
I feel like all we're doing is baking. All I want to do is eat carbs.
That's not to say she's not incredibly busy, with 2 buzzy new series hitting screens this month, including the HBO miniseries, I Know This Much Is True.
I love brother so much.
I Know This Much Is True is an adaptation of the novel by Wally Lamb of the same name. It's a very powerful novel, a very moving novel to me. And the reason I had wanted to do it was because it was Mark Ruffalo was playing the twins, who I think is so extraordinary. I also have a personal connection with mental illness in my own family, that I knew that there was going to be such an empathy towards that.
She's also part of the star-studded cast of Central Park on Apple TV+.
Fine!
Yeah, you got cream cheese on my door.
I'm coming back for it! Perfect!
An animated show, and it's a musical. And when I say musical, I'm still stunned at the talent that is involved in this show. I really couldn't believe that they asked me to join this group. It is Leslie Odom Jr. and I play husband and wife, who you know from Hamilton.
Right, yeah.
Couldn't come out at a more perfect time, and I just think it is a magical show.
Despite a booming career, Kathryn says she still feels close to her Northeast Ohio roots.
To my mom and my dad and my uncles and my cousins and to everybody over there, I love you so much as well. And I cannot wait to step foot on that beautiful grass at some point in the future. I miss you guys so much.
We take our grass for granted.
Oh my gosh, you take your crocuses for granted? I miss a crocus out here.
And it's clear pride for her home state remains strong.
I was so proud of Ohio for taking it so seriously so early on. I really was. I had such Ohio pride. I am so in awe and so proud and so just sending so much love to all of the essential workers in Ohio, all of the healthcare workers, anybody that is putting their health on the line for the good of everybody.
It was a lot of fun to talk to her. Well, coming up, the 70-step trick shot. This video is incredible. Check it out in our Worth the Watch next.
Well, it's that time of day, folks. It's time for our video worth the watch. Betsy, this man put together a 70-step trick shot. Now, the full clip is 3 minutes, so we've sped it up. The creator is calling the contraption the Rube Goldberg machine. It wraps around his entire yard. He says it was filmed in one take, and it took a month to build and another month to get it to work successfully. You saw it started with a basketball shot there. Along the way, you see a skateboard. Several other balls are used in various contraptions, a trampoline, some construction cones, some Hot Wheels, and another basketball eventually makes it into another hoop all on its own. That is intense, Betsy.
Wow,
How about
those
that guy?
people need to get out and do some social distancing now. Ooh, that's
I agree.
a little intense.
Yeah. I'll bet his neighbors wish that they could social distance from him right now. I mean, that's an impressive contraption, but you know, that's a lot. That's a whole lot of work.
It is, and that's what fences are for, by the way.
It is. Now he's got a hula hoop and a trampoline. That's his neighbor. I don't know what he's doing. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching us today on What's New.
That's right. What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Now at 6, a nation outraged over the death of George Floyd at the knee of a police officer.
We're angry people. We fear for our lives.
Protests demanding action against the officers involved turned destructive overnight, leaving parts of Minneapolis charred and broken. We'll have the latest. Plus, police officer training. Our investigator exposes barbers